everyone, it's Laura Myers for CMS-Connected here at Sitecore Symposium 2018, and I'm joined by Amish Dholakia, the Senior Director of Digital Strategy at Rightpoint. Thanks for joining me.
Have you? Absolutely. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks. So, of course, being a digital strategy, I'd love to know where you feel, start off, more of a positive note, where do you think that companies are going wrong with digital strategy?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot of organizations chart forward and say that they're working on digital strategy. I think the statistic is 85% of organizations truly believe that digital strategy is the right path forward. The reality is 22% of them actually have a plan on what they need to do next, and 2% of them are actually activating against that strategy into something that's formidable against their competitors in their space. And I think a large reason for some of that is because organizations are having challenges in a couple areas. One of them is definitely falling down in terms of how different parts of the organization collaborate with each other. Mm-hmm. Many people think digital strategy is either owned by marketing or it's owned by IT, and the reality is it is a pretty joint effort. And now in today's digital era, it has to be more joint than ever. And I think that's a challenge that most organizations really haven't had to think about, haven't had to deal with for a while, because it really hasn't been about the whole team moving together as one. It's been about what can I individually do, what can my team do to move the ball forward. Yeah. So I think that's kind of collaboration is kind of a pretty big kind of area. The other piece of it is understanding, truly kind of getting in the weeds of being a technologist. And I think a lot of people kind of shy away from that and go, oh, I'm not your tech guy, I'm the marketing guy. But the reality is every organization should be looking at themselves as a technology company. Prime example, Domino's is we know them as a pizza company, but when you walk the halls of Domino's, they look and sound like a technology company. They call themselves a technology company who, by the way, just happens to make pizza. Yeah. So it's like the way that you're even thinking about it completely needs to change. And then the last piece, I think around why organizations are failing is really around this concept of not being able to do the right, or I guess the appropriate amount of self-evaluation around what is truly happening within the organization. And that should be across people, process, and technology. Yeah. Not any one or the other, but people aren't really, I think you go to some of these conferences, you see these new technologies come out, and people think technology is my answer. But the reality is, if you had a golf club in your hand and your old technology was helping you hit it 20 feet into the wrong direction, the new technology is going to help you hit it 40 feet in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not going to really, so I think that's kind of some of the reasons why people are really struggling today. Yeah. And that's some of the things that we're trying to help them navigate, as well as gain the right buy-in from leadership.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a conversation earlier about your experience in financial services, which is kind of one market that we get asked about a lot on CMS-Connected. So tell us kind of how that digital strategy is looking today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think financial services is a really interesting space, right? Because typically they are not known, like retail, like some of the others like CPG, they're not necessarily known as the ones that are able to kind of move really fast. They're kind of held back. One of the kind of the trends right now is that their limiting factor of moving forward is someone like their legacy back-end systems, right? And that a lot of that is controlled by certain regulations, certain things that they're not able to get past. The reality is, like the aha moment here is that they are actually moving extremely fast when it comes to digital transformations. Most financial services organizations that you probably bank with, either on the retail side or on the commercial side, have actually been investing in digital transformations for like the last 3 to 4 years. And the reality is they've invested not millions, but billions of dollars in that space. So like these organizations have been preparing to kind of start to leapfrog. That's why you're able to see things like, Amazon's Alexa that has the built-in capabilities to be able to bring up your checking account. And now with the introduction of more and more smart products, like your car is smart, your phone is smart, your camera is smart, right? Like anything and everything, right? Your house is smart. All these things have the capability to be able to do something from a banking perspective, because banking is so core, finance is so core to everything that organizations are doing, right? So that's definitely kind of one area of it. The other area is they are like fintech, and so I think the traditional banking methods have gone out the window, and almost in a way that's kind of Uber-esque in nature, where you have this concept of the sharing economy really being applied to the financial services industry. So you have people that are not necessarily seeing assets as assets or checking accounts as checking accounts. They're really kind of going after kind of this kind of customer experience journey that allows them to be able to take and share these like assets with other people. So no one necessarily needs to own an account, but it's just a way for them to move money back and forth. And as the next generation continues to come up, this is the fastest way to do banking. It's convenient, it's seamless. And those are words that are kind of major kind of pillars of how organizations are structuring their kind of financial services place, you know? So I think those are kind of some key areas that we're seeing that just, organizations are having to do a lot more really fast, and the experience matters more than anything. And everyone says this, we put the customer at the middle, B2B, B2C, whatever, but these guys truly do that. And also in financial services, relationships are really big, right? So for example, if you have a checking account and you have a business on the side, right? And so you have an account for that business, you have a checking account, your mother and father have an account, your brother, maybe your significant other, all those people, for the bank to know and see that view of you as a customer and then be able to cater the right offerings, whether it's credit cards or loans or whatnot, that's huge. And their customer journeys have changed so much. So now actually what you have is they're seeing, as you go through your life, the major moments in your life. So when you are about to go into college, you're going to need a starting checking account, right? When you're about to kind of move past that and go towards maybe getting married, or you want a loan for your car, a loan for your house, like those are major moments in your life, and they're tracking their customer experience to those moments. So, and again, providing that kind of incredible, seamless journey that can all be done through the watch or through their phone or whatever, So that's kind of what's happening in that space right now.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully I'll see you guys out there.
Perfect.
Cool. Thanks.